She thought life was finally back on track. The past was behind her, the wounds were healing, and a future with Nathan seemed steady, even if not magical. But just as Amy Fleming begins to breathe again, a single test shatters the calm she's built. She's pregnant. And the father? That's the real mystery. The first episode of Heartland Season 19 opens not with chaos, but with calm. Amy wakes up at the ranch, the early morning sun pouring through the windows, horses grazing quietly outside, and Lindy's laughter echoing in the distance. Life seems peaceful, ordinary. But underneath that peace is a current of unresolved emotions and decisions that were made more out of survival than true clarity. Amy is now officially engaged to Nathan. The wedding is still a few weeks away. Jack seems relieved that Amy has found someone steady, someone who doesn't bring the turbulence that Ty's life once did. Lou is supportive but cautious, still wondering if Amy has fully healed or just forced herself to move forward. And Katie, now older and wiser, quietly observes that Amy seems different lately, more tired, more distracted, and often lost in thought. Amy brushes it off. Just stress, she says. Too much to juggle. Between the ranch, Lindy's school, and wedding preparations, who wouldn't be overwhelmed? But her body tells a different story. She's nauseous in the mornings, easily fatigued, and more emotional than usual. She snaps at Lou for suggesting she take a day off and breaks down in front of Jack over something as simple as forgetting to order more feed. It's Lisa who quietly notices the signs. One evening, as they clean up after dinner, Lisa gently asks if Amy has considered other possibilities. Amy freezes. She hasn't. Not seriously. Her period is late, but she's been under pressure. That happens, right? But later that night, unable to shake the feeling, Amy finds herself standing in the bathroom, staring at a pregnancy test. The seconds feel like hours. When the result appears, her heart sinks and races all at once. Positive. She's pregnant. She hides the test in the back of a drawer and goes to bed without saying a word. Not to Lou, not to Jack, not even to Nathan. Especially not Nathan. Because deep in her heart, a fear she can't name is rising. This should be good news. A blessing, a beginning. But instead, it feels like the beginning of a storm she can't control. The next morning, she tries to go about her routine. She feeds the horses, helps Lindy with her backpack, and forces a smile when Nathan brings her coffee. But everything feels different now. Every word, every step, every glance. It's all heavier. She watches Lindy ride Spartan, remembering the first time she and Ty rode out together, young and wild and full of dreams. And that's when the doubts start creeping in. She does the math in her head. The dates don't line up the way she expected. Her last intimate moment with Nathan wasn't recent enough. The timing feels off. And then a terrifying, impossible thought hits her. What if this baby isn't Nathan's? What if the one night, that one night, she never told anyone about, the one she's tried to erase from memory, has come back with consequences? She tells herself it's impossible. Ty is gone. That chapter closed long ago. But her body, her instincts, they tell a different story. And if that night wasn't just a dream, if it did happen, then everything changes. By the end of the episode, Amy stands alone in the barn holding the pregnancy test in her hands again. Her eyes are full of questions, fear, hope, and a haunting uncertainty. Outside, Nathan calls her name. Inside, Amy doesn't move. She's no longer sure who she is, what she wants, or where her future lies. One truth is certain. This baby is coming, and with it, answers that could shake the very foundation of Heartland Ranch. Amy doesn't sleep that night. The walls of her room feel tighter, the silence too loud. Every time she closes her eyes, flashes of memories return. Not just of Ty, but of that night under the stars, the accidental moment she's hidden even from herself. It wasn't supposed to happen, it wasn't planned, but it was real. And now, it might explain everything. The next morning, Amy rides Spartan out to the far pasture. It's where she always goes when she needs to think, to breathe, to escape the noise in her head. She leans against a tree, holding the pregnancy test again, unable to throw it away. Her fingers tremble as she scrolls through her phone, pulling up the calendar, counting days, retracing every moment. And no matter how many times she checks, the answer is the same. If this baby is Ty's, the timeline makes sense. But how can she tell anyone? Who would believe her? Lou would think it's grief messing with her head. Jack would look at her with worry. Nathan would be destroyed. And Lindy? How could Amy explain all this to her daughter? A daughter who barely remembers her father, a daughter who finally started smiling again. Still, the weight is becoming unbearable. That afternoon, Lou stops by unexpectedly. She brings flowers and cake samples for the wedding. Amy tries to play along, nodding, smiling, pretending to care about buttercream versus vanilla bean. But Lou isn't fooled. She sees the darkness under Amy's eyes, the stiffness in her posture, the forced laughter. Eventually, she puts down the wedding binder and says softly, "Something's wrong." "I know you, Amy. Talk to me." Amy hesitates. Her throat tightens. The words almost come out, but she swallows them down and shakes her head. "I'm just tired, Lou. That's all." Lou doesn't push, but the doubt in her eyes lingers. Later, Amy visits the clinic in Hudson under a fake name. She asks for a prenatal checkup, hoping for reassurance, answers, anything that might help her feel grounded. The doctor, kind and calm, runs a few tests. At first, everything seems normal, but then something unexpected happens. The doctor furrows her brow, looking closer at the ultrasound. "You mentioned your partner's blood type?" the doctor asks gently. Amy pauses. "Why?" "There's a small anomaly," the doctor explains. "Nothing serious, but the baby's Rh factor doesn't match your fiancé's. It's rare, could be nothing, but if there's a different biological father, it could explain it." Amy's chest tightens. Her worst fear confirmed, not with emotion or memory, but science. It is Ty's. She drives home in silence, the road blurring beneath her tires. When she arrives at the ranch, Nathan is fixing a fence, his face lighting up when he sees her. "Everything okay?" he asks. She nods quickly, forcing a smile. "Just tired." But inside, she's drowning. That night, Amy pulls out a small box from her closet, one she hasn't touched in years. Inside are letters Ty wrote her, photos, little trinkets from their adventures. At the bottom, folded and worn, is the note he left the night they saw each other again, the night he reappeared briefly before vanishing once more. She never told anyone about that meeting. It was too painful, too unbelievable. But now, it's the only thread connecting her to what's happening. She reads the note over and over again. "I couldn't stay, Amy. It wasn't safe. But I never stopped loving you. Never." Tears fall silently. In the background, Lindy stirs in her sleep. Amy walks to her daughter's room, brushing a strand of hair from her face. A child born of love, of memory, of heartbreak. And now, another child growing inside her, born of one final moment she thought was lost to time. Amy whispers to herself, "What am I going to do?" The past is no longer just a shadow. It's alive inside her. And the secret she carries will either bring healing or tear everything apart. The days that follow are a blur for Amy. On the surface, everything appears normal. Riding lessons at the ranch, wedding preparations in full swing, and the occasional visit from friends who want to celebrate her upcoming marriage. But beneath that calm, Amy is unraveling. Her body is changing, her emotions are unpredictable, and the secret growing inside her now feels heavier than ever. She starts waking up in the middle of the night, drenched in sweat, haunted by dreams of Ty. In those dreams, he's holding her hand, whispering things she can't quite hear. Sometimes he's smiling, sometimes he's walking away again. And every time she reaches out, he vanishes. The dreams feel so real that she wakes up with tears on her face and her hands clutching the bed sheets as if trying to hold on to something that's already slipping away. One morning, as Amy prepares breakfast for Lindy, her daughter looks up with curious eyes and says, "Mommy, do babies grow in dreams too?" Amy drops the spoon in her hand, heart racing. "Why would you ask that, sweetheart?" Lindy shrugs. "Because last night, I saw you holding a baby with curly hair and daddy's eyes." Amy freezes. She tries to laugh it off, but Lindy's words stick with her all day like a whisper from another world. Children don't lie. Not about things like that. Was it just imagination? Or something more? As the wedding day draws closer, Nathan begins to notice her drifting away. At dinner, she barely speaks. When he kisses her, she flinches. And when he talks about their future together, about raising Lindy and having more children, Amy forces a smile that never reaches her eyes. One night, Nathan takes her hand. "Amy, I know something's wrong. You don't have to carry it alone. Just talk to me." Amy looks into his eyes, the eyes of a man who's been patient, loving, and honest with her for years. And yet, in that moment, all she sees is guilt. Not her own, but his. The way he avoided questions when Ty's photo appeared, the way he reacted when she once brought up the possibility of Ty still being out there, the flicker of fear behind his calm exterior. She pulls her hand away. "I'm just tired," she repeats again. But the lie is beginning to crack. Later that week, Lou confronts Amy again, this time with a more serious tone. "You're not acting like a bride-to-be, Amy. You're distant, distracted. And I saw the clinic appointment in Hudson on the family insurance records. What's going on?" Amy doesn't deny it. She simply says, "I might be pregnant." Lou's eyes widen. "Amy, is it Nathan's?" Silence. That silence says everything. Lou doesn't ask more. She just hugs her sister tightly, whispering, "Whatever happens, I'm here. We'll figure it out." But Amy knows this is something she has to face alone, because there's one person who might know more, one person who could help her make sense of this impossible situation. Ty's old friend, Scott. The next day, Amy visits Scott's clinic under the pretense of checking Spartan's leg, but when she's alone with him, she blurts it out. "Did you ever hear from Ty after he died?" Scott looks stunned, almost hurt. "Amy, why would you ask that?" "Because I think I saw him once, a long time ago, and now I think I'm pregnant, and it might be his." Scott doesn't laugh or brush her off. He just sits in silence for a long time. Finally, he says, "There were rumors, things that didn't make sense, medical records that vanished, a body that was never fully identified. I always wondered, but I didn't want to give you false hope." Amy stares at him, her heart pounding. "So you think it's possible?" Scott nods slowly. "More than you know?" A single tear escapes Amy's eye. All the uncertainty, the fear, the guilt, it all begins to shift into something else. Not relief, not yet, but clarity. Ty might still be out there. And if that's true, she needs answers. As Amy drives back to Heartland, she makes a decision. She won't let this secret destroy her. She won't live in fear. But first, she needs the truth. And there's only one person left who might be hiding it. Nathan. The sun sets behind the hills as she pulls into the ranch. The golden light touches everything around her, warm and soft. But it doesn't touch the cold inside her heart. She walks up to Nathan, who's brushing one of the horses, and says with quiet strength, "We need to talk." The storm has begun. Amy stands before Nathan, her hands clenched by her sides, the cool evening breeze brushing her face. Her heart thunders in her chest, not from fear, but from the weight of the truth she's finally ready to confront. Nathan looks up from the horse he's brushing, his smile fading as he notices the fire in her eyes. "We need to talk," Amy says again, firmer this time. Nathan wipes his hands slowly as if buying time. "Sure. What's going on?" Amy takes a deep breath. "I went to see Scott." Nathan stiffens. "He told me things I've suspected for a long time. There's a chance Ty never died. And I think you know more than you've said." Nathan laughs nervously. "Amy, come on, Ty's gone. You've just been under a lot of pressure." "I'm pregnant, Nathan," she cuts him off. Silence. Nathan's eyes widen, and for a moment, Amy almost feels sorry for him. But she can't afford to feel anything except clarity. "And I don't think it's yours," she adds. That strikes a chord. Nathan's jaw tightens, and he takes a step back. "So what?" "You're saying it's Ty's? That's impossible." Amy's eyes don't leave his. "Is it?" For a long moment, he doesn't answer. The silence is deafening. Then, he speaks, his voice low, almost defeated. "I tried to protect you." Amy narrows her eyes. "From what?" Nathan sighs. "A year after Ty's death, I got a letter. No name, no return address, just a note saying Ty was alive and needed help. He wanted to come back. I didn't believe it at first. I thought someone was playing a sick joke. But then I got another message, a photo, and I recognized the place. The mountains behind the cabin, it looked like the old timber roots near Moose Creek." Amy's voice shakes. "You knew he was alive, and you didn't tell me?" Nathan's voice rises in frustration. "You were finally healing, Amy. You were smiling again. You were building a life for Lindy and yourself. I was here. I stayed. I helped you through it all. I thought if Ty was really alive, he would come himself. But he didn't. He sent shadows, secrets, and when I didn't respond, he stopped." Amy's face twists in disbelief. "You made that decision for me." "I loved you," Nathan pleads. "I still do." Amy steps back, shaking her head. "But you lied. You betrayed my trust. You let me believe he was gone forever while he might have been out there, waiting, hoping." At that moment, the front gate creaks. Jack and Lou step out of the house, sensing the tension but unsure of the cause. Lindy runs outside with Katie, her laughter piercing the thick silence like sunlight through a storm cloud. Amy looks at her daughter, her strength, her anchor, and feels a wave of courage rise inside her. She turns to Nathan. "I can't marry you." Nathan's face crumples. "Amy, please." "No," she says softly. "This isn't love anymore. It's fear, and I refuse to build my future on fear." Nathan doesn't argue. He knows it's over. Later that night, Amy sits alone in her room. On her nightstand lies the photo, the same one that started it all. Ty standing by the cabin, looking rugged and distant, but unmistakably alive. She stares at it, her hand resting gently on her stomach. Life is growing inside her. Whether by miracle or mystery, it's connected to the man she never truly let go. Then, her phone buzzes. A new message, from an unknown number. Just like before. It reads, "It's time. I'm ready. Are you?" Amy gasps softly. Her fingers tremble as she holds the phone. The words are simple, but the meaning is everything. The truth is no longer a shadow. It's right in front of her. She walks to the window, staring at the moonlight shining over the hills. She's not sure what lies ahead. Reunions, questions, pain. Perhaps all of it. But one thing is certain. Her story with Ty isn't over. And neither is the story of Heartland. The season has just begun, and it promises to be the most emotional, mysterious, and unforgettable journey yet. What are your thoughts? Do you think Ty is really back for good? And what will Amy do now that everything has changed? Share your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more Heartland twists, and turn on the bell so you never miss an update. See you in the next one.